Back again, and I can now see it in the daylight. It doesn't look as good as it did at night time, which is understandable, but I still think it's not fully clean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a wipe over with a dry cloth, and I'm going to add some of this demon shine to it. You know, one of these simple things, loads of different companies do them, where you basically just spray on and then wipe off, and it leaves like a shine on it. Let's see what it looks like then. I mean, 100% it looks better than it did before. What's interesting is, so basically the base colour is purely to give colour, and the shine is coming all from the gloss, isn't it, from the top coat. So I'm thinking when I do the rest of the panels, I might go maybe 4 or 5 coats on the top coat, and then it will allow plenty of buffing down, won't it? So I can get maybe a more mirror-like finish. Or what I'm also thinking is, if I was to take it for a respray, could they not just do the top coat, or does it not work like that? You know what I mean? Could they not just go over the top coat and then make that nice and shiny? Or is it because this is dull underneath it that the top one's not going to be shiny? I'm thinking they might be able to just do a top coat, which would be nice. So yeah, anyway, let me clean it, put some demon shine on, and see if it looks any better. Okay, so yeah, the shine has made a bit of difference. It's kind of evened it out a little bit more, but it's still not a good finish at all. But the main thing is, it's not going to be embarrassing to drive. Anyway, enough of that. I think I need to sand back the seat on the inside, and maybe I've only got one spray can left now. I wonder, would I be able to get colour on the boot? I might try to do the boot today. I've got another load orders. Now I know people are thinking like this is pointless if I'm getting a respray. Part of it's for myself, because I've done so much work on this car, and I haven't yet had one of those days where I'm like, look at the difference, you know? And the thing is, it's like a carpet fitter. Carpet fitter comes in after an electrician's done a load of work on a house, and plumbers have done loads of work, and the house looks no different. Carpet fitter comes in, the painter decorator comes in, and all of a sudden the customer's like, wow, you've done an amazing job. And the electrician gets no thanks, and the electrician's done like 50 times the amount of work. So I kind of wanted to have the car looking a bit nicer so I can feel happier about it, because I put so much work into it, and everything I've done has just really made the car look worse and worse from when I bought it. So yeah, for me now, seeing that makes me feel good, because it feels like I've made a bit of progress, and it means then it buys me time. It buys me time to get the proper respray. I won't be in such a rush to get it, so I can take it for an MOT without being embarrassed. And as far as the price that's concerned, I think materials wise it's going to be about £400 to £500, but I already had most of the materials because I wanted them for that wing over there anyway, because I thought about doing a rattle can respray ages ago, but then decided against it after the amount of work it took. So I kind of already had a lot of the materials. So in this instance I'm going to be spending about another £200 to get this done, because I'd probably already spent about £200 on the polishing, the paints, and the top coat and stuff like that. So in my point of view, I think it's worth it, because I'm never going to sell those other cans on eBay. It's just not going to happen. So yeah, at least they're being used. Well, I think I'm going to start sanding this back here. So they gave me a tiny little square of 1200 grit, because I can see here it says 1, 2 and 0, 0, so 1200 grit. I'm going to use 800 grit, because the thing is, I don't think many people would be filling holes this big. You know, I think that it's meant for tiny little cracks, because the bit they gave me was this big, so I think it's just meant for tiny little cracks. Obviously this is a little bit on the extreme side, so I'm using 800 grit, and let's see what's going to happen. Not sure how easy or hard it's going to be to sand back. Do you know, I think there's too much to do by hand. I'm going to get the electric sander on it. I'm going to try 400 grits and see how I get along with that. Right, while we're standing back, we'll give a quick shout out to the My Mate Vince Massive. The members this month are KipDigital.com, Kip Hakes, Max Rokotansky, Chris Seal, Felipe at MrKeeps.com, DJVG, Pixie, Anthony Dean, Bazza2, Russ Melanson, Gaspar Heller, Rickard Berglund, Soul Reaver 555, the My Mate Vince Fan Club, Tobias Hennig, and Astral Red Panda. Thank you very much, guys. Right, I am pretty impressed with that, but there is a few low spots. Let me get the camera off. Have a look here. You can see now the shapes really come on very, very nicely. Like, very nicely. But annoyingly, I have to go over these bits again, I think. Mind you, that feels a little bit... No, I'm going to sand that back. That feels a bit proud. Maybe I just need to concentrate the sander more over this side than this side. But there's still going to be some little bits that I need to go over. Wow, that's come out much better than I ever thought it would. Look at that. Wow. Okay, so I am going to just get the filler, and there's just a few little holes. If they were cracks, then I'd like it because it will blend in with the rest. But these are actual holes, so when they're painted, it's going to become really clear that it's been filled. So I'm just going to go over it again now with the filler and just get these little holes. I think maybe after another 2 or 3 fills, we should be there. Well, I'm going to get the hairdryer on that, try to dry it a little bit quicker. I've put very little on. I'm really happy with the first lot of fill. You know, the lot that I did there, I thought I'd have to do a lot more making good. But no, I think I might just get away with this one little bit of filling now. Let's give it another little sand. I'm just doing it by hand now. I think I'm ready to put paint on, and if, for example, I see, because it's a bit hard to see at the moment, but if when I put paint on I see that there's loads and loads of holes and imperfections, then I can go and do those bits again. I think it's one of those things that looks good now, but when I paint it, I think it will look bad. Because right now you think, yes, I'm going to get a good finish, but I bet you when I paint it, it's just going to look so weird because leather has texture, and this is just going to be smooth. So, unless of course I was to get a needle, I'm being serious, and scrape in. I wonder, can you scrape this stuff? I could get a needle and put little lines on it maybe. I suppose by rights I should go over it with 1200 grit now, but I don't want it too smooth because I think it's just going to look weird, and also the paint's not going to adhere to it as well, as if it's rough. So I'm going to leave it at the 400. I've got plenty of paint, so I'm happy to put it on. If it doesn't work, then I'm going to sand it back and do more, or just, you know, fill over it. It really is amazing stuff though. I know that, well, in the short term anyway, that's not going to crack getting in and out of the car. It's, honestly, if I close my eyes, well, I look away rather than closing my eyes, I can feel it's a bit harder here, but it doesn't feel much different. You know, if I do this, yeah, I can feel it feels a little bit different because it doesn't feel as supple as that. But I think it's kind of miracle stuff. Okay, I think we're ready to go. Let's get this little wet wipe thing, give everything a wipe. Leather prep pad. Ooh, it's big. I'm going to do this whole side bit here, so right the way up to the joins here. Saying that, am I going to have to tape off the I'm going to have to tape off the piping, aren't I? Otherwise I'm going to get it all over that. Yeah, because see, parchment, this colour here, is going to be the same colour as down here. You see this bit here? Because this is untouched basically. But you see the difference between this and this is absolutely huge. It's gone a lot more browny yellow over the years, but I don't know what colour to mix with that. I would be tempted to put a bit of black in, but I think then it's just going to end up starting to make it look grey. So I think it's probably best that I just keep it original. And then, because I'm no good at mixing up colours at all. I've tried it in the past. I don't know what it is, but I just haven't got the eye for that. I read somewhere ages ago that a clever way to mask off the piping is to use straws and cut them down one side. But I haven't got any straws. Can't do it with gloves on either. Oh my, I've got one job as a YouTuber and that's to film. I didn't press record. Anyway, I've loaded up the sponge, you'll see me do that again in a minute, and I'm just dabbing it on here. So you can see the colour difference between what parchment was or is and what the car is now. So unless I do the whole seat, I think it's going to be quite hard to blend in. So this is what I'm using, it's Scratch Doctor. They're the same ones that did the actual leather filler. That leather filler stuff, I'm very, very happy with it. My brother said to me that there's something coming up, I think it's either April or May, I need to double check. It's called Shedfest, and he was like, do you think your car will be done by then? Because it will be perfect for it. He wasn't being mean. I think Shedfest must be a place where kind of maybe cars go that probably need a little bit of love, or maybe it's a place where they've done loads of work to the engine and stuff, but maybe not the bodywork, so they look a little bit of a shed. But that would be good, wouldn't it, if I could get it on the road. Bring it to that. It is extremely flexible and will never crack once applied. It remains soft and supple without changing the texture of the leather. How to use. Right, so apply the colour with a sponge to the area and dry with a hairdryer. Extra coats, apply extra coats as required. Okay, and it says extra protection can be acquired by sealing with a leather finish. And guess what? I bought one of them. Let me show you. Ta-da! Leather finish. And I got from memory matte, yeah, matte finish, because you know I don't want it shiny. I would prefer a dull finish. Right, I think I am going to, let me dry that now and then we'll apply a little bit more. This is probably going to take quite a few coats. I will dab it at the end. Right now, I just want to get the colour on it. Well, I'm going to let that dry naturally now for about 15 minutes. Right, I've also got light cream. I bought light cream and I bought magnolia as well. I'm just going to see if either of these look more similar to what the colour should be. I'm just going to let those two dry and see what they look like. Right, so I've got a chart here, but annoyingly there's no cream on here. But let's say if you wanted red, you would put 1 part magenta and 1 part yellow. If you want green, you would put 1 part green stroke to blue, 1 part yellow and 3 parts blue. But annoyingly there's no beige. It does say here ivory. Think of ivory as a tinted light grey colour. I can't see grey here. It is a low saturated colour, so any addition of tints will have a big effect. Always add tints in small quantities. So that's the problem, you see. I could mix it up and then, you know, maybe if I just put a tiny little bit less yellow, then it would be perfect. Now, as far as I can see, light cream is definitely a no-go. It's a completely different colour. Magnolia is pretty good, but is it any better than parchment? So let me do a bit of parchment here, and then we'll see what looks better between magnolia and parchment. Well, in my opinion, I think parchment looks better than magnolia. How would I get that just a little bit darker? I'd love it if I could get it the same colour. Would a little bit of yellow, should I try mixing a tiny little bit of yellow in a separate pot and see if I can mimic the same? So what follows is about 20 minutes of me trying to mix up the correct colour. I only used the tiniest bit of yellow. I basically just dipped the little stirrer into the yellow and took it out. And I only dipped in about 2 centimetres at the ends. And I thought, okay, you know, that's only a tiny bit. I'll add about a tablespoon of parchment to it. And it was a complete different colour. It really is true. The smallest amount of tints will really affect ivory. I had to keep adding more and more and more parchment. I think I must have ended up a quarter of a bottle of parchment into this lid to try and get the correct colour. Anyway, I'm just going to show you now. I think the colour is slightly better, but it's just so hard for me to actually tell. It's kind of, it's weird. I know it should be easy, but it's not. When you're doing it, I can't tell you whether I need to add a bit of brown or a bit of grey or a bit of black or a bit of white. I know it's not the same colour, but I don't know what I need to add to it to make it the same colour. Anyway, let me show you. I think it's slightly better. So this one here. Well, that's the parchment here. I think that's better. Right, well, let's whack it on. Let's go with it and see what it looks like. I can already tell it's better. I can already tell that's better. I can't believe how much difference the tiniest bit of yellow makes. Right, I'm going to give that about 15 minutes to dry, and then I'll use the hairdryer again, and then I'll give it a bit more drying time, then we'll put another coat on. Look at this must be an omen. So not only has the Aylesbury duck gone from here, it looks like somebody's tried to have a go at this Aylesbury duck. Check out the beak, was it Bill, on that? And there's the remains of it just there. It's a sign, I'm telling you, it's a sign. I can already tell I'm not going to like the finish. It's just too perfect. It's got no texture, no feeling to it. The problem is, if you look at all the rest, can you see there's ingrained dirt? Well, it's not dirt, because I've cleaned it so many times. It's basically where the dye's rubbed off the leather on the inside. And eventually this will look like that, but it will probably take 50,000 miles or something off use and many years to look like that. So unfortunately it is going to stand out like a sore thumb. It's just that I don't want to paint the whole seat, because if I paint the whole seat, this is going to look a complete different seat than all the others. And also, I like the look of slightly worn leather more. Well, I don't mean worn, but I like the look of the texture rather than this, which just looks painted, basically. Oh well. I mean, what could I do? There was tears in the leather. I suppose the only other thing you could do is send it off to a professional, which I'm not going to do. I don't even know where there would be one who could redo this whole stitch, stitch in the new a new leather piece. If you were in the business, you would know all these people, but I don't know these people. And the thing is, I'm not even going to know if the person I'm using is any good or not. I wonder, is there any way I could get dirt back into the grooves at all? If I went over it now with a kind of dark grey dye, yeah, and then before it dried, rubbed it all off, and would that put the grey marks back into the leather? See, I had to paint the whole thing because I would never be able to get the match the same. So I had to paint all of this. It's just, it looks so different now compared to everything else. What is amazing though is the sponge doesn't leave any brush marks at all. When you use a brush on it, you can visibly see brush marks on it. So the sponge is a real nice way of getting an even finish across it. So it looks a little bit textured when you first of all do it, but it just dries flat. Okay, I don't think I'm going to apply any more to it now. It feels nice and dry. I'm going to peel off this and see then what it looks like. I think I'm going to have to work out a way to try and get dirt back into this. It sounds madness, but I really don't want to paint the seat. And also, it's not just that. I don't like the look of it like this. It just looks fake. The masking tape's done a good job. Okay, so this is it here. Now straight away my eye is drawn to the fact that it's a complete different colour from the panel next to it. But you can see now, if I was to paint all of the seat this colour, I'd then have to paint that colour, and I'd have to paint the door panels, and then the armrests would stick out, and then the back seats would stick out, so it would just go on and on. So that is not an option. I'm not bothered about here. I can just sand that back there, the touch-up bits that I did. I mean, clearly it does look better than there was gaping holes in it. But I need to somehow dull this down. Okay, so it's a real shame here. I thought the painting might look good, but it just stands out like a sore thumb. It looks much better in the video than it does in real life. You just have to take my word for that. It just doesn't look right. It's like somebody with dyed hair. It always looks dyed because you see it's a uniform colour. When you look at this seat, it's made up of loads of different colours because of the wear. In each of the cracks, it's not mud and dirt you see, it's wear. So you'll see a little bit of brown, a little bit of grey, a little bit of black. It's a mixture of everything, and it just makes it look alive and real and natural. Now that I've painted it, it looks as fake can be. I've never liked the look of painted seats, and now this just confirms that I don't like the look of painted seats. So I try to age it. So I mix up some grey dye and I put it into the cracks, and it does age it a bit, but the problem is it's all grey. And the rest of the seats are not grey. They're a mixture of colours because it's natural wear throughout the years. So then what I do is I try to mix up some brown. Amazingly, it's brown in the pot and it's brown when I put it on the seat. I start rubbing it in with my hands. It goes green, like Incredible Hulk green. It's a miracle. It's like Baldric making green in Blackadder instead of gold. I don't know what I've done to make it green. I presume the brown's had some reaction with the parchment and it's made green, but it really is green. So now it looks like the car's got some algae problem. So I can't have that. The bottom line is I can't age this where it will look good. So what I'm doing is I'm scraping all the paint off. I'm putting it back to the original leather again, and I'm just going to blend in the repair down the bottom, because then when I look at the seat, it looks 95% correct and 5% wrong, and that's much better than looking, for example, 85% correct and 15% wrong because one side's all painted. Now, people will say I should have painted the whole seat, but then I'll have to paint the headrest and the armrest. Then I'll have to paint the passenger seat. Yes, I wouldn't have to paint the rear seat. It's too far away. You're not going to notice the difference between them. Most people wouldn't. But I don't like the look of painted seats. So for the haters out there, because my word, they've come out on these last 3 videos, if you want to paint your car seats, you paint your car seats. This is my car and I don't want to paint them. Also, by not painting them, it means when I do eventually get it on the road, I can then get this bit professionally repaired, and if they stitch in a new bit of leather, the rest of the seat will still be original. But I actually don't know if people do that, because how are they going to age that leather in? I've been watching, since I've done this video, some professional restorers on YouTube doing classic car seats, and ones that I fully believe, not the fake restorations you get out there, these are real restorations. They say that you will always see a hole in a seat, even when it's being filled. And these are professionals that do it for a living, and they've been doing it for years. And even when I look at their seats, they look a bit painted to me. And I looked up a local guy that does these areas, and basically he's got loads of before and after pictures on his website, and on every single repair it looks better than it did before, but I can see where the hole was. I can see where it's been painted. I can see that the stitching on the bolster's no longer there. They're not going to put in the new stitching, so when people say let a professional do it, it's still not going to look perfect. And isn't that the whole point of my channel? It's about me trying to fix stuff. Of course I could send everything off to a professional. I'll send it down to Surrey for a 10 grand respray. I'll send the seats up to a classic car restoration in Scotland. Yeah, they're brilliant. The whole interior, it's only costing 2.5 grand. Yeah, that's a good idea, isn't it, Vince? When the whole car is going to be worth about 7 or 8 grand when I'm finished, because it's still done 150,000 miles with limited service history, nothing in the past however many years, 13 years. If somebody wants an immaculate one of these cars, they're going to spend £20,000 for a 30,000 mile one, which has been looked after from new with a full Rolls Royce service history. So surely now you can understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I'm actually trying to do my best for this car, but it is my best of my ability. I don't respray cars. I haven't got 40 years experience in doing the leather. The whole point is that you can watch me and then realise how easy or hard it is, because I am showing you the truth of somebody doing something for the first time. So now you know, if you've watched me and I've managed it, good chance you can manage it. If I've struggled, there's a good chance you're going to struggle. Right now, let me show you this seat because I'm very happy with it. Quick other question I want to answer, because it keeps coming in, is about the MOT. Yes, I know. If it was in the real world, I'd be getting the MOT done a year as soon as I bought the car, because we all know the MOT that came with this car was, let's say, favourable. But it isn't the real world. This is a series of videos. What I would like is to have the car looking amazing, take it for an MOT, for it to pass, and that is the end of the series. Kip Hakes has already offered to put cameras all around the car. I've got somebody else I know with a drone. Wouldn't it be amazing to get some footage, the last episode on this, seeing it driving down some country road with some lovely footage on a bit of a road trip. And then the videos after that, because this is going to be in my life for a while, will be standalone videos. How to fix the cruise control on a Rolls Royce Silver Spirit. Can you see how that's going to get more views than if I do trying to fix the cheapest Rolls Royce in the UK, part 78? Yeah, we can all see that, can't we? So that's why I'm trying to do as much as I can before the MOT, because in my naive brain I'm hoping it will pass. And if it will pass, that's the end of the series, and everything after that is a video in its own right. So hopefully I've cleared all that up now. Let me show you the seat. I think it's looking much better. Okay, you know, I am actually pretty happy with that, because you need to remember that there was loads of holes in it and I couldn't leave it completely painted because it wouldn't blend with anything else. Now have a look. If you were to open the door of the car and have a look in, you can see now that it's not standing out as much as it was before. Oh my word, I definitely feel better now, because I'm clearly seeing with my own eyes I have made progress. I've just gone back and watched part 11 trying to find something where I hadn't touched the seats, and look at this seat here. Look at the state of this seat compared to how it looks now. So obviously me rubbing the dye into all the grooves around the place on the base of the seat as well has clearly made a difference, because the interior just looks unrecognisable compared to how it looks now. But even the seat, you can see, in my opinion, how much better the seat looks now in part 54 than it did in part 11. So yeah, I feel happy now. Yes, it looks massively damaged, but everything else on the seat looks massively damaged as well, so it kind of blends in more. I'll show at the very end once I've cleaned the seat up, but you can see now that the massive holes have gone, and yet this is all blending in fine because most of the paint's off that now. And yeah, you can see there's plenty of texture and damage on it, just like the rest. I think that's better than having that bolster completely immaculate. So now, to seal in that bit of paint, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of that leather finisher there, and hopefully then I can call it a day on this seat. Right, with this stuff here, it says shake well, spray on 3 coats, drying with a hairdryer in between. Well, I can't spray, so I'm going to just put it on with a cloth. Oh wow, it's like that. Okay, let's just rub it in. Hopefully it will give it some sort of seal. So I give it 3 coats, and after each coat I put the hairdryer on it. This stuff dries amazingly quick. It's only got to see the hairdryer and it dries, and it has got a lovely matte finish. So basically you don't know it's on there, yet when you feel the seats, they feel smoother, they feel nicer. I might actually go over the whole car with this at a later stage, all the leather, not the door panels but all the seats, because they just feel really nice. It takes away that roughness to it, but it doesn't change the look of it. And also it's supposed to give it some kind of protection as well. This seat, for me, has come up. I'm in love with it. So look, just stand here now, and I don't think your eyes are going to be drawn straight down to that. I think it's come up absolutely brilliant. Really, really happy with it. And look at it, ready? Look at that. Yeah, can you see? It's not like, it doesn't look like it's ever going to crack. Look at it. It's amazing stuff. I honestly think that is going to be long lasting. I don't think that's going to fall out. You know, one summer later, I don't think that's going to come out. It just feels, it feels brilliant. And the leather sealer thing makes the seat feel lovely. This here now just feels amazing to put your hand on. So much more. Even though I put loads of balm in this, I think the cleaner just gives it a nice, nice slippery feel. I'm well happy with that. Honestly, I'm really, really happy with that. Let me know what you think. Would you have painted the seat completely, like you've seen when I painted one side of it? Would you have done that everywhere? But I know then it's not going to blend in with the rest of the car. Well, right now I have to just accept the fact that the seats are worn. I mean, the doors and stuff look lovely. The dash is going to come up just fine when I give it a nice clean, but the seats are worn. But now, when you look in here, I just think that's more than acceptable. I know there's a lot of junk around the place. I'm well happy with that. because it's got a shape back. Right, I think I am going to do, I'm not sure, I might do a bit of buffing here, or I might do a little bit of painting. I don't know, I've got 1 hour of sunlight left. Right, jump forward an hour, and I've decided to go with the flatting of this back here and the bit of the roof that I did. And I'm more hopeful now, because look, I know it's wet, but look at that reflection there on this bit. I mean, look how dull the rest of the roof is. It's amazingly dull. But look at this bit here that I've done. So what I'm doing is, I'm doing 1500, then 2000s, and then I used a polishing on these ones, but on here I've now gone to 2500, and then after that I'm going to go to 3000. So I'm spending more time on the hand sanding part of it, because if I can get it completely flat, that's where the shine's coming from, isn't it? So the problem with this is, it's not the base coat. Well, it is. The base coat has to be flat, because, for example, if there's a run like there is here, then as you go to sand it back, you're sanding the clear coat off that bit there. But for most of this, the base coat is pretty flat. The reason I'm not getting it shiny is because I don't think I'm flattening back the gloss enough, the top coat. Yeah, so I'd love it if I could use 2K, but I can't because of the health risks, not just to me but for other people in the area. And but if I spend more time with the sanding, then I'll have to spend less time with the polishing, I think, because I don't know, I think this is looking shinier. So yeah, 1500, 2000, 2500, then 3000, then we'll see what the finish is like. I think it's going to be dark next time I start recording, but I'll just finish up the video just to let you know what stage I got to. Okay, that is flatted back all the way to 3000 grit. I hope I haven't gone through anywhere. There was a bit of a weird mark here. I hope I haven't gone through the top coat back to the base coat. We'll see once I polish it back using the compound now, you know, the liquid stuff, the great yellow bottles. So I'll start with number 3 and then go up to 10. I'm really curious to see, is it going to look better than these 2 doors and the front wing? I hope so, because I put a lot more work into it. You know, if there was a full-time job undoing masking tape from sprayed cars, I would take it. I think I'll do it for free. It's extremely satisfying. Right, I am done for today. As soon as I started recording, that alarm went off. Take 2. Right, I am done for today, and I've given the car a wash due to a leaking hose pipe. I am absolutely sodden wet. Every time I walk, I can hear it squelching and feel it as well. Anyway, the bit where I did the flat into 3000 is definitely better. I can't see, unfortunately, very well now, but look, if you have a look here, right, don't look at where the torch is shining, look at the reflection of the light. So let me just hold it in between my legs so you can see. Look at this bit here, not this bit. So now, can you see there? I know it's wet because everything's raining, but can you see there's a bit of definition there? And when I move on to here, there's not as much definition. So if I go there to there, it looks better here. I don't know if that's coming through in the camera, but when I looked at my eyes earlier, it is better. Right, okay, this is now a couple of days later, but I've just spent the last 6 hours with my son flattening back the paintwork on this side. Now, we've made a few mistakes around the place where we've gone too heavy on, for example, angles, and we've taken off some of the top coat, but at least now I know you can get a shine by flattening back. So I bought all different grades of sandpaper that attaches to the dual action polisher. I bought them from Amazon, and then also I bought like this Maguire's, I think it's called, car care kit that comes with all this compound, and basically when I did that, what I did is I made sure when I was flatting back that we actually started on 800 and then went to 1500, then 2000, then 3000, then 4000, and this time the paint was much flatter, and basically now you can see reflection. So if I shine this on my feet, you can now see, look at that reflection there. How good does that look? It's almost a mirror finish, so you can get a good, with a spray can, you can look at the reflection there. That is insane. Obviously it's not going to look as good in the daytime, but you can get a good finish with a rattle can. Now have a look here at the look at the reflection. In fact, you can see me. Look, there you go. You can actually see the reflection off. One second, my phone's in the way. Hold on, there we go. Hello. How nice is that? You can see my reflection in the car for the first time ever. I'm so happy. So yeah, it was really helpful, my son helping me out today. Look at that there. Hold on, and this back one here. There, that's shine. There we go. Look at my dirty trainers, my dirty trousers. Look at that. It's amazing. So yeah, clearly it's not going to look as good in the daytime, but now I'm more than happy with it. And also the roof as well. I keep getting condensation on the roof, but the roof is there, look at that. It's looking really good basically. There you can see the reflection there. Now you can see on these bits where I've gone through. There. Because I've gone through on the edges, but still, and I'm not sure how I'm going to remedy that. Probably won't be able to remedy it very easily, but overall the car is looking insane. I know it's all dirty down the bottom, but look at this car now. I'm on my phone again today. Look at that. Forget about the bonnet and stuff and the bumpers being dirty, but look at the side of that car. I can't believe we managed to get that finish on it, and the seats and the interior and everything is just looking so good now. Well happy with that. I've learned so much about spraying and flatting back. Massive thank you to Norfolk Man Cave for making those videos. It's helped me out no end. Oh, I'm so happy with it. Right, okay, that's the end of this part here. Hopefully you did enjoy it, and I'll see you again very shortly. I've got a lot to do now. There's lots more spraying to do, and I'm not sure if I am going to spray the other side of the car or not. This was the bad side. I mean, I think realistically I probably will still have to get a professional respray, but certainly now I can take that for an MOT without any embarrassment at all. I can drive it around for quite a while and not have any embarrassment, but I might still do, I've definitely got to do the boot, I've definitely got to do the roof, and I might end up doing the other side as well, just for the time being. I've got the spray cans and stuff. So there might not be a video for a while now, because I've at least got 5 days of probably spraying, and then I'm sure I've got about another 2 or 3 days of flatting back. So yeah, and in the meantime, I've got to do other videos as well, because this is my living. So there's no point in keep on filming loads and loads of spraying videos. But I'm so, look at that, it's unbelievable. If you enjoyed it, give it a big thumbs up, and I will see you all very soon. Thank you so much for watching.